Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G, trying to review the latest horror movie. It is the live-action combo stop-motion horror film called Stop Motion.
Y'all ready for this?
Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G. Now, Stop Motion is a 2023 British live-action adult animated psychological horror film that was directed by Robert Morgan in his directorial debut and written by Robert Morgan and Robin King. Now, the film stars Aisling Fanchauzi, Stella Garnett, Tom York, Carolyn Springall, and James Swatton. Now, in the film, a stop-motion animator struggles to control her demons after the loss of her overbearing mother. Oh, God, these overbearing parents, let your children be themselves. Now, we've seen filmmakers use different types of effects in horror films, be it practical effects or CGI, which is computer-generated imagery. However, one of the best effects that I've seen in horror films, or in films in general, is stop-motion animation. Now, this was made popular by the American-British animator, the late great Ray Harryhausen, so good that the effects won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in the 1949 film Mighty Joe Young, sort of the cousin to King Kong. Now, of course, I've seen other stop-motion effects in other films by Ray Harryhausen, like all the Sinbad films, where there's The Golden Voyage, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, and I believe I forgot the other Sinbad film. Obviously, Jason Unorganized, The Valley of Gwangi, and of course, one of the best films I believe that he made was Clash of the Titans, starring Hammy Howland. Now, stop-motion effects has also been seen in several horror films, such as in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, that's the marionette scene, The Gate, and The Evil Dead. Now, we've seen stop-motion in other horror films, but I just picked those three in particular. Now, whether combining stop-motion animation with live action or filming a completely stop-motion film, such as Phil Tippett's 1918 film or 1920, I forget the year it came out, Mad God, it's a fantastic effect that many audiences have enjoyed seeing throughout the years. Especially if you've seen Mad God, that was a very fabulous, gross at times, but very great horror films, which is completely stop-motion film, and I can imagine the time and effort that it takes for him to make that particular film. I mean, my good friend Marty from the Trash Picture Show, he does these little stop motions of effects for some of the toys that he has, and I know it takes him a very long time just to film maybe a 10 to 15 second short that he does on his channel sometimes. So I can imagine the time and effort that it takes for to make a feature-length film using stop-motion animation. Which brings us to British filmmaker and writer Robert Logan's latest project and his feature-length debut called Stop Motion. Now, we're introduced to Ella Blake, who is the daughter of a famous stop-motion animator, Suzanne Blake. Now, while helping her mother with her latest project, because she suffers arthritis in her hand, so she basically moves the puppets in any direction she has to do because she can't do it anymore. Unfortunately, her mother suffers a stroke and falls comatose. Oh, no. But determined to finish her mother's film, Ella, with the help of her boyfriend Tom, rents a studio apartment to complete the project. Now, while trying to get the project done, she meets an unnamed young little girl who tells her that the project that Ella is doing is boring and that she should do something completely different. The girl lost in the woods is what she wants her to do. This will lead Ella down the dark path where reality and fantasy will make Ella do anything in her power to complete the story. And oh boy, he's going to talk about some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff happens in this particular film. Now, you really have to give Robert Morgan credit for hitting a home run in his first feature-length film. Now, I looked at Robert Morgan. He's done a lot of short films. I believe he's an animator himself. He does a lot of short films. This is his first full-length feature film, and I think he really did a good job in this presentation of combining live action and stop motion animation. I mean, not only is this an excellent combination of stop motion live action, but the film itself is a decent tale about an artist going to the extreme to get her project done, or just going in pursuit of what she believes is something good, that she has to get this done. She throws herself right into her art. You see this, especially when the film begins, a visual display of showing the two sides of Ella, which is an excellent way of getting the audience to know there's something wrong with this woman. Now, of course, I won't mention when it happens, but when you take a look at that, it's like, wait a minute, something's not right about the woman. You already know right away there's something wrong with this woman. As the film goes along, we get to see that. We take a sort of journey with her. But he also takes his time with this process, showing Ella is a talented animator, but lacks self-confidence, as we see in her relationship with Suzanne and with the girl. There's something off about her. It's like we know that she can do the job, but something holding her back. And we believe it's obviously with the relationship she has with Suzanne. And we can see that in this relationship she has with this little young girl. As soon as she meets this young girl, we get to go on Ella's descent, and she can't do anything unless the young girl tells her what to do. And some of the things are dark and disgusting. I mean, there's a part of the film where Ella is defiant. She says, I can do this on my own. I don't need your help. The girl says, okay, go ahead and see what you can do. Unfortunately, Ella realizes that she can't, so eventually has to go on ahead and do what the girl wants. And unfortunately, what the girl wants, unfortunately, is dark and disgusting things. And this is where the stop motion animation comes into play, and Robert and his team do a good job in combining those aspects with the live action. The stop motion animation is very creepy looking and disgusting, and presents a dark, dim image, kind of reflecting Ella's soul and mind. It's like a reflection of her mind. Whatever the girl is telling her what to do, this is what she's doing, but it's more of a reflection of Ella's soul and her mind. It's like she has to get this done, and we get to follow Ella on this dark path. Now, Robert, along with his writing partner Robin King, has brought us a tale about how dark and twisted artists can become, to the point where the artist can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy. It's like whatever is happening to Ella, there's a part in the scene where we think she's taking something because she thinks it's the only way she can express herself. Now, Irish actor Alison Fanchalzi, known for her performance in the 2018 film The Nightingale, I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember that film. She is excellent playing the shy, introverted Ella. I mean, she gives Ella the frustration, the struggling, but determination. But overall, she's a troubled woman, as we get to see her downfall throughout the movie. Whether it's from her mother or the little young girl who's, I think it's a representation of the emotional abuse Ella has suffered from her mother, you can't help but feel sorry for her. But then when you get to the third act, you kind of don't. Speaking about that little girl, I really like the performance of child actor Carolyn Spangle, as she takes control of the unnamed character. But as I stated earlier, you can figure out what she represents in the film. It's like, I won't say what it is, but when you take a look at the early part of the film, you can take a look of how she talks to her mother and how her mother talks to her. And then when you can see her a relationship with the little girl, we never know the little girl's name, but we can tell what type of representation she is to Ella. And we see how Ella acts towards her. And we see that Ella cannot get what she's trying to get done unless the girl tells her what to do. It's kind of the same thing what we have between Ella and her mother. That's because when the little girl, she's direct. She knows what she wants and knows that Ella can't do anything without her, which is something that we learned about Ella earlier in the film. Now, I've heard that this film is very gory, and there are very gory aspects in the film. It's not the goriest film that I've seen so far. We'll leave that up to the sadness. But a lot of stuff does happen, especially in that third act of the film. It's more disgusting than some of the stuff that happens in the third act of the film. And I'll also have to praise Robert, because even though some people might call this surrealist, he doesn't bombard us with realism. There's a lot of straightforwardness when you take a look at this particular film. It's a very straightforward and somewhat kind of predictable plot story. But because of the performance that we see in this film and how Robert films his films, and with the stop motion effects, it really drives home the point that he's making, and without overbearing the audience. So overall, this is a very decent horror film, which does a great job of combining the live action with the stop motion animation. We have excellent performances from Alsing and Carolyn, and a dark and wild and twisted story from Robert Morgan. A really good job on your first full-length feature film, Robert. Keep up the good work. So I'm going to give stop motion 3 out of my 5 Blood Deco coins. Almost gave it a 4, but I'm just going to stick to a 3. Like I said, very straightforward film. I don't know if everyone's going to like this particular film because it does have its moments. It does have some surrealism in this particular film. I don't know if that's the word or not, but there are some moments that are trippy. But it's basically the performance of Alsing and Carolyn. I like those performances in the film, and of course that third act. So there you have it, guys. That is my review for stop motion. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with our YouTube algorithm. Also, have you seen stop motion? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. And I see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there.